We don't have that model for people like you." The words hang in the air of TechElite's gleaming flagship store. The tall black man in jeans and a simple button-down freezes, his fingers still touching the premium laptop's sleek surface. A $15,000 watch peeks from beneath his sleeve, a detail the dismissive sales rep never bothered to notice. "That's interesting," the customer says quietly, glancing at the fully stocked display of Aurora Pro X7 laptops directly behind the rep. "Because I can see at least 12 of them right there." The rep's smile tightens. "Those are reserved for premium customers." Something shifts in the customer's expression, not anger, but something more dangerous. Recognition. He pulls out his phone, revealing a company logo matching the store's. What the sales rep doesn't realize, he just lied to the man who built this entire company from nothing. 3 years earlier, in the gleaming TechElite headquarters, Damian Cole stood before a wall of diversity awards. Framed magazine covers celebrated his journey, from garage startup to tech empire. At 37, he'd built TechElite into a billion-dollar retail chain with over 200 locations nationwide. "Another inclusion award for the collection," said Aurora Jenkins, TechElite's HR director, placing the newest trophy beside the others. Damian ran his finger along the engraved message. "For outstanding commitment to workplace diversity." "Means nothing if it's just for show," he said. His tired eyes reflected late nights reviewing troubling reports. "My father couldn't even get a job interview once they saw his name. I built this company so talent wins, period." On his desk, a family photo showed 3 generations. His parents who'd sacrificed everything, himself in graduation cap, and his young daughter. Beside it sat anonymous employee surveys that told a disturbing story. "These numbers don't make sense," Damian said, pulling up the data. "Our overall employee satisfaction is strong, but there's a 40% gap when filtered by race. How is this happening under our roof?" Aurora nodded grimly. "I've been tracking it for months. Look at the turnover rates for minorities at store level, triple the rate of white employees with identical qualifications." "Could be isolated bad managers?" "That's what I thought initially," Aurora said, pulling up a presentation. "But the pattern is too consistent across regions. Something systematic is happening." She showed him charts tracking promotions, scheduling, and advancement opportunities. The data revealed a troubling pattern invisible in aggregated reports. "Regional performances look excellent on paper," Aurora explained. "Thomas Reynolds, your VP of Operations, has delivered record profits for 8 quarters straight. But digging deeper..." "Something's very wrong," Damian finished, studying the patterns. "Who else knows about this?" "Just us. I wanted to be certain before bringing it forward." Damian pulled up the employee scheduling software, scanning its interface. "I helped code the first version of this system myself. Is someone manipulating it?" "Possibly. But when I've raised concerns with regional managers, they insist everything follows corporate policy." His phone buzzed with a news alert. TechElite stock hitting another record high. On paper, everything looked perfect. "I've tried conventional channels," Aurora said. "Official surveys, anonymous reporting tools. People are afraid to speak up. Or worse, they believe this is actually how things are supposed to work." Damian stared at the schedule grid on his screen, then at the diversity awards lining the wall. The disconnect between them tightened his jaw. "When I started this company, I promised it would be different," he said. "That everyone would have a fair shot based on merit, not what they looked like or where they came from." "I know," Aurora said quietly. "That's why I joined." Damian stood, decision made. "Have legal prepare non-disclosure agreements. Tight circle. Just you, me, and whoever else we absolutely need." "For what?" "If managers won't tell us what's happening and employees are afraid to speak up, I'll find out myself." His determination hardened into resolve. "I'm going undercover." Aurora's eyes widened. "Damian, you're the face of the company. People know who you are." "Not store-level employees in regions I haven't visited. Most have never met me in person. He pointed to the employee satisfaction chart. Whatever's happening started 2 years ago, right when we expanded nationally, and I stopped doing store visits myself. He pulled up Thomas Reynolds' profile, his VP of operations, recruited from a competitor 3 years earlier. The man had transformed their operational efficiency, delivering consistently impressive metrics. Reynolds reports directly to me, but we've only met in person a handful of times, Damien said. He's always traveling between regions. What exactly are you planning? Damien's eyes reflected the same determination that had built TechElite from nothing. First, I'll be a customer. Then, if necessary, a new hire. I need to experience our company the way our employees and customers do. No filters, no special treatment. He glanced again at his father's face in the family photo. Someone is undermining everything we stand for, and I'm going to find out who. The viral TikTok video had reached 8 million views in just 36 hours. I applied for a management position at TechElite with 7 years of experience, said Xavier Thompson, a young black man speaking directly to camera. They offered me an entry-level sales position instead. The next week, my white friend with less experience applied with the exact same resume, just a different name. They immediately offered him assistant manager. In TechElite's crisis room, executives watched the video spread across platforms. Xavier's hashtag TechElite exposed had unleashed a flood of similar stories. We need to issue a statement immediately, said the PR director, fingers flying across her tablet. Standard response? Isolated incident, not reflective of our values, internal investigation promised. Thomas Reynolds, VP of Operations, adjusted his perfectly knotted tie. This is just one disgruntled applicant making unfounded accusations. Social media loves to attack successful companies. On the wall-mounted screens, new testimonials appeared by the minute. A former employee, Lisa Chen, trembled as she described her experience. I outsold everyone in my department for 6 straight months. Each time a promotion opened, they'd tell me I wasn't management material yet. Meanwhile, they promoted 3 white men who missed their targets. Another screen showed customers sharing stories of being steered toward cheaper products despite asking for premium models. The pattern was unmistakable and overwhelmingly affected customers of color. This isn't just one incident, Amara said, pointing to the trending topics. People have been experiencing this for months. They just needed someone to speak up first. Reynolds waved dismissively. Anecdotal evidence at best. Our diversity metrics look excellent on paper. Because they're being manipulated, Damien said quietly, entering the room. All heads turned. These stories match patterns we've been tracking internally. Reynolds straightened. Damien, I assure you my team maintains the highest standards. We should focus on containing this PR situation, rather than lending credibility to unverified claims. Damien studied the man who'd delivered record profits while something rotted beneath the surface. Amara, please pull the regional performance reports. I want to see the raw data, not the summaries. As Amara worked, more testimonials flooded in. A former manager described being pressured to schedule minority employees for less desirable shifts. A customer recounted watching a black family being told a laptop was out of stock, only for it to be offered to a white customer minutes later. This matches the employee survey discrepancies, Damien said as Amara displayed the data. Look at these patterns in scheduling, promotions, and customer complaints. Correlation doesn't equal causation, Reynolds countered smoothly. Markets differ. Demographics shift. We have a responsibility to maximize store performance. By discriminating? Damien asked pointedly. By optimizing our resources, Reynolds replied without missing a beat. Our investors expect results. The strategies producing those results are complex and can be misinterpreted by those without the full picture. Damien turned to watch another testimonial, an elderly black woman describing how her grandson had been denied a job interview despite his computer science degree. The same position remained open for weeks afterward. We're facing a serious brand crisis, the PR director warned. We need a public response immediately. Draft something, Damien instructed her, but don't release it yet. After the team dispersed, Damien remained with Amara, watching the testimonials continue to pour in. She pulled up employee data from their Atlanta store, the location mentioned in several complaints. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the schedule. "Minority employees consistently assigned to slower shopping hours when commission opportunities are lowest. Same pattern in Chicago, Dallas, and Phoenix." Damien nodded, his suspicions crystallizing into certainty. Someone created this system, and they're hiding it behind our diversity initiatives. "What are you going to do?" Amara asked. Damien closed the social media feeds and stood. "I need to see this firsthand. No PR statements, no corporate investigations that might warn people to cover their tracks." "The undercover plan?" "Yes, starting tomorrow. I'll visit the Phoenix store first. It's mentioned in several complaints, and I've never been there in person." He stared at the TechElite logo glowing on the screen, the company he'd built from nothing, now being corrupted from within. "Prepare the paperwork for a temporary sales position under an alias. I want to experience exactly what our employees face every day." "And if you confirm what we suspect?" Damien's expression hardened. "Then I'll tear it down and rebuild it right, whatever it takes." In his penthouse apartment, Damien studied his reflection as Amara evaluated his transformation. "The glasses help," she said, circling him critically. "And growing the beard was smart." Damien adjusted the non-prescription frames. His usually close-cropped hair had grown out, and the casual clothes, jeans, and an unremarkable button-down completed the disguise. "David Carter," he practiced, adopting a slightly different cadence than his usual speech pattern. "Recently relocated from Cincinnati, previous retail experience at smaller electronics shops." "Your background check will show solid but not exceptional performance," Amara confirmed. "Good enough to get hired, not impressive enough to draw special attention." On the coffee table lay David Carter's fabricated identity, driver's license, credit history, professional references, all created by TechElite's top security team under strict NDAs. "The recording equipment is virtually undetectable," Amara continued, adjusting the watch on his wrist. "Audio captures through the watch, video through the glasses. The team built a secure server that only you and I can access." Damien nodded, mentally reviewing his preparation. He'd spent weeks studying the employee manual, memorizing policies, and learning the details a typical new hire would know. "Your first visit is just as a customer," Amara reminded him. "Keep it simple. Express interest in a high-end laptop, see how you're treated. And then apply for a job at a different location if needed," Damien finished. "I know the plan." "The Phoenix regional manager has never met you in person," Amara confirmed. "None of the staff there should recognize you, especially with the changes to your appearance." Damien picked up a family photo, the last thing he'd see before stepping into his undercover role. "Whatever's happening stops now," he said quietly. "I didn't build this company to become what my father fought against his entire life." The Phoenix TechElite store gleamed under bright lights. Damien now fully in character as David entered with the slightly uncertain air of a typical customer. His glasses recorded everything as he moved toward the laptop displays. A white couple received immediate attention from a sales representative, who guided them enthusiastically toward premium models. Damien noted how the rep emphasized financing options that would make the expensive purchase more accessible. After browsing for nearly 10 minutes without acknowledgement, Damien finally caught the attention of a different representative, the one who would soon lie directly to his face about laptop availability. When the rep claimed the Aurora Pro X7 was completely sold out across all stores, Damien's suspicions crystallized into certainty. The discriminatory patterns weren't isolated incidents, they were policy. "I'll think about the other options," Damien said, maintaining his composure with effort. "Thank you for your time." Outside in the parking lot, he called Amara. "It's worse than we thought," he said quietly. I need to go deeper. Prepare the job application for the Scottsdale location. 3 days later, David Carter sat in the Scottsdale TechElite store's back office for his job interview. The location was just far enough from Phoenix to avoid crossover, but operated under the same regional management. "Your experience looks adequate," said store manager Brian Matthews, barely glancing at the resume. "Though nothing exceptional." "I'm a quick learner," Damien replied, maintaining his David persona. "And I'm passionate about technology." Sure, Matthews said dismissively. "Here's the thing, our associates need to understand customer dynamics. Different customers have different needs and spending capabilities. Being perceptive about those differences is important to success here." Damien noted the careful phrasing. "Perceptive how?" Matthews studied him for a moment. "Let's say a young professional in a suit walks in versus someone in sweats and sneakers. Who do you approach first?" "Whoever came in first," Damien answered, watching Matthews' reaction. The manager's smile tightened. "Technically correct, but this isn't a customer service exam. In the real world, we prioritize customers likely to make significant purchases. It's just efficient business." "And how do you identify those customers?" Matthews leaned forward. "You learn to spot the signs. We call it customer optimization. You'll get training on our unofficial best practices." By the interview's end, Damien had secured a position starting the following Monday. Matthews hadn't explicitly mentioned race, but the coded language was unmistakable. Orientation Day revealed the first tangible evidence. New hires watched standard corporate videos about inclusion and equal treatment, but afterward, Matthews pulled the group aside. "Those videos are corporate requirements," he explained with a knowing smile. "Now let me show you how things actually work here." He pulled up the scheduling system, the software Damien had helped develop years earlier, and revealed a modified interface. "Each shift has a potential value score," Matthews explained, pointing to color-coded time blocks. "Premium shifts go to associates who demonstrate alignment with our priorities." "How do we earn premium shifts?" asked another new hire, a young white woman. "Focus on high-value customers, maintain excellent conversion rates on premium products, and understand our demographic optimization strategy." Damien raised his hand. "What's demographic optimization?" Matthew's expression cooled slightly. "You'll learn more during shadow training. For now, understand that different customers require different approaches, and we track which associates excel with various customer types." After orientation, Damien was paired with Tyler, a top-performing sales associate, for shadow training. As they walked the floor, Tyler offered unfiltered insight. "See the numbers next to customer names when they check in?" Tyler whispered. "Those are priority codes. Anything below a 7, don't waste much time unless it's dead slow." "How are the codes assigned?" Damien asked, already suspecting the answer. "Supposedly it's spending history and credit profile," Tyler replied. "But between us, it's pretty obvious what they're really tracking." By day's end, Damien had documented multiple instances of racial profiling. Black and Hispanic customers consistently received lower priority codes regardless of appearance or demonstrated interest in premium products. That night, in his temporary apartment, Damien reviewed the footage with Amara via secure video call. "The system is meticulous," he said, sharing his screen to show her the coded interfaces. "They've created an entire shadow operation beneath our official policies." "This explains the data discrepancies," Amara said. "But who authorized these modifications to our systems? This level of coordination requires executive approval." Damien's expression hardened. "I'm starting to have a very good idea. Tomorrow I begin actual floor sales. Let's see how deep this goes." "Be careful," Amara warned. "If they realize who you are—" "They won't," Damien assured her, "but they will realize what they've done when this is over." He ended the call and prepared for his first full day as a TechElite sales associate. What had begun as an investigation into troubling patterns had revealed something far more deliberate and disturbing. The company he'd built to fight discrimination had been weaponized to enforce it, and someone would answer for that betrayal. "Carter, you're on the closing shift again," announced Matthews, posting the weekly schedule. Damien checked his assignments, the 5th consecutive late shift, ending well after prime shopping hours. Tyler shook his head sympathetically. "Tough break, man. Tough. New guys usually get rotated through some decent slots by now." Damien studied the schedule board. Every employee of color worked predominantly closing shifts or weekday mornings, the lowest commission opportunities. White employees dominated weekend afternoons and evenings when big-ticket purchases typically happened. "Is it always like this?" Damien asked carefully. "Pretty much," Tyler shrugged. "Regional expectation. Nothing personal, just how the system works." During his shift, Damien observed the sales floor dynamics with mounting concern. When a well-dressed black customer entered, Associate Mark intercepted him with rehearsed indifference. "Just browsing today," the customer said, examining high-end laptops. "Tablets are on sale over there," Mark responded, steering him away from premium products despite the customer's clear interest. Minutes later, an elderly white couple received radically different treatment guided enthusiastically through premium options, offered refreshments, and given extended demonstrations. In the break room, Damien struck up a conversation with Zoe, who had been with the company for 3 years without promotion. "You've been here longer than most," he noted. "Ever consider management?" Something flashed behind her eyes before she masked it. "Applied twice. Made it to final interviews both times." "What happened?" "Suddenly wasn't quite ready despite having the highest sales numbers." Her forced smile didn't reach her eyes. "Meanwhile, Eric got promoted after 8 months. Half my numbers, but apparently has leadership qualities I'm missing." "That's rough," Damien said. "Is there a way to improve your chances?" Zoe glanced around before lowering her voice. "Between us? The metrics are rigged. Look at your customer assignments when you log in. Check the P-score column." Later, Damien discovered what she meant. Each customer was assigned a potential score upon check-in. The system consistently assigned lower scores to minority customers, regardless of their actual purchasing power or interests. "It's not just my imagination," he told Amara during their nightly debrief. "The system is explicitly designed to discriminate, and it goes deeper than individual stores." Over the following days, Damien documented everything. He recorded manager coaching sessions where employees were trained to identify premium customers using coded language for white shoppers. He captured conversations about demographic optimization and resource efficiency, corporate speak masking blatant discrimination. In his second week, Damien witnessed talented employee Andre being passed over for a promotion. "Your numbers look good on paper," Matthews told Andre, "but we're looking for someone who connects better with our core demographic." The position went to Tyler instead, despite Andre's superior sales record and customer satisfaction scores. That evening, Matthews pulled Damien aside for his performance review. "You're doing fine technically," Matthews said, "but I'm not seeing enough demographic awareness. You're spending too much time with low-potential customers." "I'm just trying to help everyone who comes in," Damien replied. Matthews' expression hardened. "Look, Carter, I'll be straight with you. Regional tracks these patterns. There are expectations. Thomas Reynolds didn't build the most profitable region by ignoring customer realities." Damien's pulse quickened at the explicit mention of his VP's name. "Reynolds designed this approach?" "His system revolutionized our performance metrics," Matthews said proudly. "The VP expects every store to optimize customer interactions based on purchasing potential. Some demographics simply convert better on premium products. That's just business reality." The confirmation sent a chill through Damien. This wasn't rogue store managers, it came from his executive team. During the third week, Damien gained access to the management training materials. Under the innocuous title, Customer Engagement Optimization, he found a detailed playbook for systematic discrimination. Assigning minority employees to low-commission shifts, steering minority customers toward budget options regardless of their actual interests, and maintaining plausible deniability through coded language. Most disturbing was the evaluation system. Employees were tracked on two separate metrics: official performance records that showed equal treatment, and shadow metrics that rewarded discrimination. Promotions, schedules, and opportunities all followed the shadow system. Damien documented a particularly revealing exchange between Matthews and another manager visiting from Tucson. "How do you maintain such high premium attachment rates?" the visiting manager asked. Matthews smiled. "Resource alignment. We ensure our premium associates connect with premium customers." "Reynolds is pushing us to improve our metrics. Any tips that won't trigger corporate HR flags?" "Use the right language. Never mention race. It's always about customer potential and demographic optimization. Keep your official documentation clean while running the real numbers separately." That night, Damien called Amara with renewed urgency. "It's Reynolds," he confirmed. "He's created an entire parallel system. Stores maintain two sets of records, one for corporate compliance, another tracking how effectively they discriminate." "That explains why our official metrics look clean," Amara said. "How widespread is it?" "From what I've gathered, it's standard practice across Reynolds' entire region, possibly nationwide by now. They call it the optimization strategy." "We need to find direct evidence linking Reynolds to these policies," Amara said. "Something that can't be dismissed as rogue managers," Damien agreed. "I need access to the regional communication system. There must be directives, training materials, something concrete." "Be careful," Amara warned. "The more you uncover, the greater the risk of exposure." In his fourth week, opportunity arrived. Matthews announced he needed coverage for a manager training session, leaving Damien temporarily in charge of closing. "Don't worry about anything complicated," Matthews instructed. "Just make sure everyone follows their assigned customer queues and lock up properly." Once alone in the manager's office, Damien accessed the regional communication portal. Within minutes, he discovered what they needed: an entire archive of directives from Reynolds himself. The messages were carefully worded, never explicitly mentioning race, but the intent was unmistakable. "Focus premium product demonstrations on customers with higher conversion potential. See Demographic Optimization Guide." Another stated, "Schedule your strongest performers during peak premium customer hours. Reference the demographic traffic analysis." Most damning was an email thread about diversity compliance, where Reynolds instructed managers to maintain appropriate documentation for corporate review while implementing our proven optimization strategy. When Matthews returned the next day, he found Damien examining a sales report with too much interest. "Finding everything okay?" Matthews asked, a new edge in his voice. "Just trying to understand the patterns," Damien replied carefully. Matthews closed the door. "You ask a lot of questions, Carter. More than most new hires." "I want to succeed here," Damien said. "I'm trying to understand how things really work." Matthews studied him. "Reynolds is visiting next week for a regional performance review. Show the right attitude then, and you might have a future here after all." The mention of Reynolds' impending visit changed everything. Damien immediately texted Amara, "Reynolds coming next week. Time to accelerate." That night, they finalized their plan. "I've seen enough," Damien told her. "We have the evidence. Now we need the smoking gun that ties it all together, something even Reynolds can't explain away." Amara nodded grimly. "Be careful. You're getting close to the source, and that's when things get dangerous." "One more week," Damien promised. "By then, we'll have everything we need to tear this system down completely." On Wednesday night, long after the store closed, Damien returned with the master key Matthews had unknowingly provided for inventory purposes. The security cameras were on a scheduled maintenance cycle, thanks to Amara's remote intervention, creating a brief window of opportunity. The store stood eerily silent as he moved through the darkened showroom toward the manager's office. Matthews had been growing suspicious of his questions, making daytime investigation increasingly risky. This might be his only chance to access the restricted regional files. Inside the office, Damien booted up Matthews' computer using the password he'd discreetly observed days earlier. The system came to life, revealing the standard TechElite interface. But Damien knew what he was looking for now. He navigated to an inconspicuous folder labeled Regional Performance and entered the secondary password he'd seen Matthews use during a video call with another manager. The screen transformed, revealing the shadow system operating beneath TechElite's public face. "My God," Damien whispered, scrolling through the files. The scheduling software, his software had been modified with a sophisticated demographic tracking system. Employee profiles contained hidden ratings for demographic alignment that determined their advancement opportunities and shift assignments. Customer interactions were color-coded by race, with explicit instructions for steering minority customers toward budget options. But the true smoking gun lay in the regional communication archive. Damien found a comprehensive demographic optimization strategy document authored by Thomas Reynolds himself. The 30-page playbook detailed exactly how to implement discriminatory practices while maintaining plausible deniability. One passage made Damien's stomach turn. "Our premium customer base, demographic A, responds most positively to sales associates with similar backgrounds. Structure your team's customer interactions accordingly while maintaining appropriate diversity metrics for corporate compliance." Another section outlined the dual record-keeping system. "Maintain standard performance documentation for corporate review. Regional assessment will focus on optimization metrics tracked through the secured regional portal." Most damning was the section on leveraging corporate diversity initiatives. "Corporate diversity requirements provide excellent cover for our optimization strategy. Maintain visible diversity in hiring while implementing strategic resource allocation based on regional demographic guidelines." Damien downloaded everything to an encrypted drive, his hands nearly shaking with a mixture of rage and vindication. The system was even more deliberate than he'd imagined, a methodical subversion of everything TechElite supposedly stood for. As he prepared to leave, a final file caught his attention. Regional Performance Leaders. Inside was a spreadsheet tracking every store's demographic optimization compliance, rewarding those who most effectively discriminated with bonuses and advancement opportunities. The Scottsdale store ranked third in the region for premium customer conversion and demographic resource alignment, corporate speak for systematic racism. Matthews had been promoted twice in the past year for his exemplary implementation of Reynolds' strategy. Damien was about to log out when an incoming email notification appeared. Reynolds himself had just sent a message to all regional managers. "In preparation for next week's review, ensure all stores have updated their optimization metrics and removed any problematic documentation from general access. Several corporate directors will be accompanying me, so appropriate presentation of our operational strategies is essential." Attached was a guide for temporarily modifying store operations to appear compliant with corporate diversity policies, essentially a playbook for hiding their discriminatory practices during official visits. Damien downloaded this final piece of evidence and carefully restored the computer to its original state. As he slipped out of the store, he called Amara on a secure line. "I have everything," he said quietly. "The entire system, documented and traced directly to Reynolds. It's worse than we thought. They've been using our diversity initiatives as cover for systematic discrimination." "Is it enough?" Amara asked. "More than enough," Damien confirmed. "Reynolds created an entire parallel operation. Every discriminatory practice we've seen was explicitly designed and implemented from the top down." "What's your next move?" Damien watched the store's lights dim as the automatic systems engaged for the night. "Reynolds will be here next week for a regional review. Every manager in the area will be present." "You're going to confront him?" "Not as David Carter," Damien said, resolution hardening his voice. "It's time Damian Cole made an unexpected appearance at this regional meeting." "I'll make the arrangements," Amara said. "How public do you want this?" Damien thought of the employees he'd met, talented people systematically denied opportunities because of their race. He thought of the customers manipulated and deceived by the company he'd built. "As public as it needs to be," he answered. "This ends now, completely and permanently." The regional management meeting filled the Phoenix TechElite store's training room with an atmosphere of nervous anticipation. 20 store managers, including Matthews from Scottsdale, sat at attention while Thomas Reynolds paced confidently at the front. "Our region leads the nation in premium product attachment for the 8th consecutive quarter," Reynolds announced, gesturing to a sleek presentation displaying impressive performance metrics. "Your implementation of our customer optimization strategy continues to deliver exceptional results." Store managers nodded appreciatively, several making notes. Matthews sat in the front row, positioned for maximum visibility to the visiting executive. "Corporate continues to push their diversity initiatives," Reynolds continued with a knowing smile. "But our approach to demographic resource alignment has proven far more effective at driving actual results." He clicked to a slide showing 2 separate charts' official corporate metrics and the regional optimization figures that told a very different story. "As always, maintain appropriate documentation for any corporate reviews. The optimization metrics are for regional eyes only." A slight commotion at the door interrupted his presentation. Heads turned as Amara Jenkins entered, tablet in hand, followed by 2 members of TechElite's legal team. Reynolds' smile faltered momentarily before returning with professional smoothness. "Amara, this is unexpected. We're in the middle of a regional review." "I know exactly what you're reviewing, Thomas," Amara replied evenly. She nodded to a technician who connected her tablet to the presentation system, replacing Reynolds' carefully curated slides with the scheduling software's hidden interface. Confused murmurs spread through the room as managers recognized the shadow system they'd been trained to use, now displayed for all to see. "What is this interruption?" Reynolds demanded, his composure cracking slightly. "This is a closed regional meeting." "Actually," came a new voice from the doorway, "I think the CEO has standing to attend any company meeting." The room fell silent as Damien Cole walked in, dressed in his usual executive attire, all traces of David Carter gone. Matthews's face drained of color as recognition dawned. "Especially," Damien continued, approaching the front of the room, "when that meeting involves systematic discrimination implemented across an entire region of my company." Reynolds recovered quickly, smoothing his tie. "Damien, this is quite the dramatic entrance. Whatever you think you've discovered has been taken out of context. Our region delivers exceptional performance through sophisticated customer segmentation and resource optimization." "Is that what you call it?" Damien asked, his voice dangerously quiet. He turned to address the stunned managers. "For those who haven't met me in person, I'm Damien Cole. I founded TechElite to create a company where talent and merit determine success, not race, gender, or background." He gestured to Amara, who advanced to the next slide showing the demographic optimization strategy document with Reynolds' name as author. "For the past month, I've worked as a sales associate in the Scottsdale store," Damien revealed. Matthews shrank in his seat as nearby managers stared at him in shock. "I've experienced firsthand the system Mr. Reynolds implemented across this region, and likely beyond." Damien walked slowly around the room, making eye contact with each manager. "I've been assigned only closing shifts, despite outperforming other new hires. I've watched talented employees of color systematically denied advancement opportunities. I've seen customers racially profiled and lied to about product availability." He stopped beside Reynolds, whose confident facade had hardened into a defensive mask. "Most disturbing, I've discovered that you've weaponized our diversity initiatives to provide cover for discrimination. You created a dual record-keeping system specifically designed to hide these practices from corporate oversight." "These are business optimization strategies," Reynolds insisted, addressing the room rather than Damien. "Demographic patterns exist in purchasing behavior. Acknowledging reality isn't discrimination, it's smart business. Is this smart business? Damien asked, nodding to Amara. She played a video compilation, customers of color being steered away from products they explicitly requested, minority employees receiving negative evaluations despite outperforming their peers, Matthews explicitly coaching staff to prioritize premium demographic customers, all captured through Damien's hidden camera. The final clip showed Reynolds himself in a video call with regional managers. Corporate's diversity obsession is a distraction from what actually drives profit. Our optimization system delivers results. Just maintain the proper paperwork to keep the HR people happy. The room fell silent as the video ended. Several managers stared at the floor, unable to meet Damien's gaze. While I've been building a company that I thought valued everyone equally, Damien said, his voice carrying clearly through the stunned silence. You've been building a system of discrimination that betrays everything we stand for. And you did it using our diversity initiatives as cover. Reynolds straightened his spine, switching tactics. The results speak for themselves. This region has delivered record profits under my leadership. The board will have questions if you suddenly change a winning strategy. Let me worry about the board, Damien replied. As of this moment, you're suspended pending termination, and every aspect of this optimization strategy is discontinued immediately. He turned to address the room of managers, many now visibly uncomfortable. Each of you has a choice to make. Those who knowingly implemented discriminatory practices will face appropriate consequences. Those who come forward immediately and help us dismantle this system will have an opportunity to be part of the solution. Matthews raised a tentative hand. We were just following regional directives. The performance expectations couldn't be met any other way. That excuse isn't good enough, Damien said firmly. Not for me, not for the employees you've harmed, and not for the customers you've deceived. He looked around the room, his expression resolute. This isn't about public relations or damage control. This is about rebuilding our company around the values that should have been there all along. 1 week after the confrontation, TechElite's Phoenix regional headquarters hummed with unprecedented activity. The large conference room had been transformed into what employees now called the Reset Center, where Damien had established his temporary office. The audit teams have completed reviews of 15 stores, Amara reported, pointing to a digital map displaying locations across the Southwest. The pattern is consistent. Reynolds' optimization strategy was implemented region-wide. Damien nodded grimly. And the other regions? 3 others show similar patterns, though less sophisticated. Reynolds' approach appears to have been spreading as a best practice. She pulled up comparative data. We've identified 247 employees directly impacted by discriminatory scheduling and promotion practices. Around the table sat an unlikely coalition. Zoe and Andre from the Scottsdale store, 2 regional HR directors who had raised concerns but been silenced, and a team of external ethics consultants. Most surprising was Matthews's presence. The former Scottsdale manager had turned whistleblower, providing detailed documentation of how the system operated. I'm not proud of my role, Matthews admitted when Damien questioned his motives, but I can help you find every piece of this system and tear it out completely. The door opened as a group of previously terminated employees entered. All had been fired or forced out after challenging aspects of Reynolds' system. Among them was Xavier Thompson, whose viral video had helped spark the investigation. Thank you all for coming, Damien said, standing to address them. Your courage in speaking out despite retaliation was the first crack in this facade. I owe you an apology for what happened under my watch, and a debt for your willingness to help us rebuild. Xavier stepped forward. When I posted that video, I never expected to be sitting here with the CEO. Why should we trust that anything will really change? A fair question, Damien acknowledged. Words mean nothing without action. That's why I'm not just promising change, I'm transferring power to ensure it happens. He gestured to the large screen where a comprehensive transformation plan was displayed. Transparent scheduling system. A completely redesigned scheduling platform with open visibility into shift assignments and rotation protocols. Promotion Review Board. A diverse committee including store-level employees to evaluate all advancement decisions. Compensation restoration. Back pay calculations for employees affected by discriminatory scheduling and promotion practices. Customer experience audit. Independent reviewers testing equitable treatment across all stores and demographics. Structural accountability. New executive positions focused on implementation integrity, reporting directly to Damien. Most importantly, Damien continued, I'm establishing an ethics council with real authority. Half its members will be frontline employees, including people in this room if you're willing to serve. The council will have veto power over operational policies and direct access to the board of directors. Zoe looked skeptical. Impressive slides, but Reynolds created a shadow system right under your nose. What prevents that from happening again? You do, Damien answered simply. The council will have unrestricted access to all company systems and data, no secondary passwords, no hidden interfaces, and rotating members will conduct regular undercover assessments, just as I did. He turned to the tech team present. Show them the new scheduling interface. The screen displayed a radically transparent system, every shift assignment visible to all employees, along with the rotation protocols ensuring equitable distribution of prime selling hours. The demographic coding that had powered Reynolds's system was gone, replaced with objective performance metrics and clear advancement paths. This launches company-wide next week, Damien explained, along with new commission structures that reward customer satisfaction rather than just premium sales. Andre studied the interface. What about store managers who resisted Reynolds's system? Many were forced out or demoted. We're reviewing every personnel decision from the past 3 years, Amara confirmed. 17 managers have already been identified for reinstatement or promotion. For the next 2 hours, the group systematically addressed each element of the discrimination system, designing countermeasures and accountability protocols. Former victims became architects of the new approach, their expertise drawn from painful experience. By late afternoon, a comprehensive transformation plan had taken shape, one that didn't merely remove the discriminatory system, but rebuilt company operations around genuine inclusion and transparency. Implementation begins immediately, Damien announced. Regional directors from across the country arrive tomorrow for intensive retraining. Every store manager will follow within 2 weeks. Xavier still looked hesitant. And the people who created and enforced this system? Reynolds has been terminated, along with 6 regional executives who knowingly implemented his approach, Damien confirmed. Store managers are being evaluated case by case. Those who embraced the system enthusiastically are being removed. Others, like Matthews, who can demonstrate they acted under pressure and are committed to the new direction, have one chance to be part of the solution. Matthews nodded soberly. I should have pushed back harder. I can't undo that, but I can help make sure it never happens again. As the meeting concluded, Damien addressed the group one final time. What happened here isn't just about TechElite. It's a pattern that exists across industries, systemic discrimination hidden behind corporate policies and technical systems. The changes we're implementing will be open-sourced as a framework any company can adopt. He looked around at the diverse group former victims now empowered as architects of transformation. This isn't about public relations or saving face. This is about rebuilding our company around the values that should have been there all along. And you, the people who experienced this discrimination, will lead that change. For the first time, genuine hope appeared on faces that had grown accustomed to institutional betrayal. The system that had oppressed them was being dismantled not by corporate decree, but through their own empowered hands. 3 months after the reset, the Scottsdale TechElite store operated with a palpable difference in energy. Gone was the tense atmosphere of competition and coded discrimination. In its place, a collaborative environment where diverse employees moved fluidly between responsibilities. Zoe, now assistant manager, led the morning team huddle with confident authority. "Great numbers across the board last week," she announced, gesturing to the newly transparent performance dashboard. Customer satisfaction hit 96%, and commission distribution stayed within equity parameters. The team, noticeably more diverse than before, responded with genuine enthusiasm. Andre, recently promoted to training coordinator, stepped forward with a tablet. "The new hires are adapting well to the inclusive sales approach," he reported. "Their shadow metrics show consistent treatment across all customer demographics." Where the old system had once tracked demographic optimization, the new dashboard monitored equity indicators, ensuring all customers received similar attention and product recommendations, regardless of race or appearance. After the huddle, Damien, visiting stores regularly since the reset, observed the floor operations. He watched as James, a black sales associate who had nearly quit under the old system, confidently guided customers through premium product options. "That's a significant change," noted Amara, who accompanied Damien on these field visits. Under Reynolds' system, James would never have been assigned to the premium product section. "And customers would have lost his expertise," Damien added, watching James expertly demonstrate features that perfectly matched the customer's needs. Later that afternoon, Damien joined the store's Ethics Council representative for a listening session in the break room. Employees shared candid feedback about the transformation, both progress and continuing challenges. "The transparent scheduling has made a huge difference," said Lisa, a Latina associate who had previously been trapped in closing shifts. "My commissions have increased 40% with fair rotation through prime hours." Michael, a white associate who had unknowingly benefited from the old system, nodded. "I actually prefer this approach. Before, there was always tension between associates. Now we're genuinely collaborating." Not every story reflected perfect resolution. Some wounds healed slowly. Raphael, recently reinstated after being terminated for challenging the previous system, still carried visible caution in his interactions with management. "Trust takes time to rebuild," he acknowledged when Damien asked about his experience. "But seeing former executives actually held accountable, that's something I never expected. It matters." The most powerful moment came during a regional recognition ceremony held at the Phoenix headquarters. Employees who had been passed over for promotion under Reynolds' system received long overdue advancement, with back pay calculated to reflect what they should have earned. Xavier Thompson, whose viral video had helped expose the discrimination, received a standing ovation as he accepted a management position. His composed dignity brought tears to many eyes. "6 months ago, I was ready to quit the industry entirely," Xavier said. "Today, I'm leading our most important initiative. The difference isn't just in the policies, it's that we're finally seen and valued." The ceremony recognized another group that surprised many: customers who had spoken out about discriminatory treatment. They were invited to join a newly formed Customer Experience Advisory Board. Their painful experiences transformed into expertise guiding company improvement. Eleanor Johnson, a 68-year-old black woman who had been repeatedly steered toward budget products despite seeking premium options, addressed the gathering with powerful simplicity. "I've been followed in stores and ignored in stores my whole life," she said. "Having my experience not just believed, but valued enough to change how a major company operates, that's something I never thought I'd see." Community rebuilding extended beyond TechElite's walls. Store teams initiated outreach programs in neighborhoods previously underserved, hosting technology workshops and career development sessions. The Phoenix store partnered with local schools in predominantly minority areas, creating mentorship pathways into technology careers. The transformation wasn't without business challenges. Some questioned whether abandoning Reynolds' optimization approach would hurt profitability. Initial data told a different story. Customer loyalty increased across all demographics, and employee retention improved dramatically, reducing costly turnover. Most revealing was the change in how employees spoke about their work. Where once conversation focused on commission competition and customer quality, now teams discussed innovation, customer needs, and collaborative success. At the end of a full day visiting stores across the region, Damien and Amara reviewed the transformation metrics. "It's working," Amara confirmed, scrolling through the data. Customer satisfaction up 23%, employee retention improved 41%, and overall sales holding steady despite the significant system change. Damien nodded, watching through the conference room window as a diverse group of employees shared lunch together. A simple scene that would have been unlikely under the previous regime. "The numbers matter," he said quietly. "But it's the human dignity restored that means the most. That's the company I actually intended to build." 1 year after Damien Cole walked undercover into his own store, TechElite had transformed from a cautionary tale to a case study in corporate accountability and systemic change. The company's headquarters lobby featured a new installation, a transparent glass case containing the scheduling software interface that had enabled discrimination, preserved as a reminder of vigilance. Beside it stood a simple plaque: "Systems reflect values. Choose wisely." On a sunny Tuesday morning, Damien addressed a technology industry conference, sharing the stage with Xavier, Zoe, and other employees who had helped rebuild the company. "What we discovered wasn't just one bad manager or policy," Damien explained to the packed audience. "It was a reminder that diversity isn't just about who you hire, but whether they can truly belong and thrive once they're there." The transparent systems developed during TechElite's transformation had been open-sourced and adopted by companies across multiple industries. The Ethics Council model had spread particularly widely, with over 40 major corporations implementing similar structures. Most significantly, TechElite's financial results had definitively answered the question of whether ethical practice and profitability could coexist. Customer loyalty had reached record levels, employee retention had slashed training costs, and the stock price reflected investors' confidence in sustainable growth. "The metrics that matter most can't always be measured in quarterly reports," Damien concluded. "The true measure of success is building systems where everyone can contribute their full talent without artificial barriers." As the presentation ended, Damien addressed viewers directly. "The discrimination we uncovered wasn't unique to our company. These systems exist in workplaces everywhere, sometimes by design, sometimes through neglect. But they can be changed when people speak up and leaders listen. If you're experiencing workplace discrimination, document patterns and report them through proper channels. Resources at equalopportunity.gov can guide you through the process. If you're in leadership, conduct anonymous testing of your own systems. You might be surprised what you discover. Most importantly, remember that meaningful change requires transferring power, not just making promises. The most effective solutions come from those who have experienced the problems firsthand. The camera panned across the diverse leadership team, now guiding TechElite, many promoted from stores where they had once been systematically held back before returning to Damien's resolute expression. "The change starts with each of us refusing to accept systems that diminish human potential. Because in the end, the most valuable technology isn't on our shelves, it's the human capacity for transformation." If this story of corporate transformation resonated with you, take a moment to hit that like button. We bring these powerful undercover justice stories to light because we believe sunlight is the best disinfectant for workplace discrimination and corporate misconduct. Subscribe to Beat Stories for more investigations that expose injustice and celebrate the leaders brave enough to create real change. Every week, we go undercover where others won't, revealing the truth behind closed doors and showcasing what genuine accountability looks like.
They say it's just how the world works. We say, change it. At Beat Stories, we capture the exact moment when justice meets its match. Subscribe if you're tired of the same excuses wrapped in different uniforms.